Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are going to unpack one of the biggest shifts happening in tech right now, the rise of Agentic AI. We're here to cut through all the noise and really understand what these things are, what they can actually do today, and of course, where the huge opportunities are.
And look, the vision for this technology is, well, it's massive. We're talking about a complete change in how businesses run. As investor Chamath Palihapitiya puts it, this isn't some small, incremental improvement. He's predicting it could literally double the profit margins of the biggest companies out there. So the question is, how on earth could that happen?
Well, it all comes down to this big shift everyone's talking about. It's the idea of moving beyond the AI assistants we've all gotten kind of used to and stepping into a world of something far more powerful, far more independent.
Okay, so here's the core difference. And it's simple, but it's really profound. A co-pilot, it's a helper, right? It suggests some code, helps you write an email, but you're still the one driving. An agent, though, that's different. You give it a high-level goal, like plan my team's offsite, and it then figures out all the steps and does them. It automates the whole workflow from start to finish.
So let's get a little more specific. An AI agent isn't just a chatbot that spits out text. No. It's a system that has a goal. It can actually look at its environment, a website, a database, your calendar, and then it decides what to do and takes action, using a set of tools to get closer to that goal.
To really get it, you just need to know these three key parts. First, you've got the model. That's the brains of the operation, like a powerful large language model. Then there's the reasoning loop. You can think of this as its internal monologue, constantly thinking, okay, what's my goal? What should I do next? And finally, and this is crucial, you have the tools. These are the agent's hands. They're things like APIs, which are just connectors that let it talk to other software, that allow it to actually do stuff in the digital world, like book a flight or search your company's files.
Okay, enough with the theory. Let's look at how this is actually being used out there in the wild, because this is where it starts to get really, really interesting.
So one of the most developed and frankly most impactful uses right now is in software development. Any developer will tell you how frustrating and time-consuming debugging can be. Well, now agents are being built to take on that entire painful process.
And this is a perfect illustration of an agentic workflow. The agent isn't just suggesting one line of code. It's reading through complex logs, it's forming a hypothesis about what the problem is, and then it's generating the solution. And what that does is free up our human developers to focus on what they do best, creativity, innovation, and big-picture problem-solving. But it's not just about code. Agentic AI is making huge waves in super-specialized fields like biology. They're developing what are called genome language models, which essentially treat DNA, the code of life, as a language that an AI can learn to read and even write.
The potential here is absolutely staggering. I mean, think about it. Instead of years of trial and error in a lab, these agents can sift through massive amounts of genomic data to predict which molecules could become new drugs or even design the exact genetic sequence for a more drought-resistant crop. It's a fundamental change in the speed of science itself.
And of course, this tech is already changing how businesses talk to us as customers. The whole idea is to finally move beyond those rigid, deeply frustrating chatbots and create experiences that are genuinely helpful and feel personal.
And we're seeing this pop up everywhere. Externally, agents are acting as personal shoppers that actually understand what you're looking for. And internally, companies are creating what's called an agent space, basically an AI assistant for your job that can instantly search across every single system your company uses to find the exact piece of information you need right when you need it.
Now, that vision, it sounds incredible, right? But like with any giant leap in technology, the reality on the ground is, well, it's a little more complicated. Which brings us to the big reality check question. If these agents are so incredibly powerful, why aren't they just everywhere yet? Turns out, there are some pretty big roadblocks.
Yeah, the challenges go way beyond just making the AI model smarter. You've got the messy, unglamorous work of hooking these things into old, clunky corporate software. You've got these last-mile problems, like teaching an AI all of your company's internal slang and acronyms. And then you have the huge issues of cost, security, trust, and just figuring out how to tell if the agent is even doing a good job.
And as investor Jennifer Lee from Andreessen Horowitz points out, the real bottleneck isn't the AI's brain power, it's the plumbing. It's the deep, difficult, but absolutely essential work of infrastructure and systems integration. I mean, you can have the smartest agent in the world, but if it can't connect to your company's ancient database, it's basically useless.
And Dylan Fox, the CEO of Assembly AI, he really hammers this point home. These last-mile issues are all those little real-world details that can totally trip up an AI. You know, things that seem completely obvious to us as humans, but for a machine, it's a total mystery until it's been specifically taught.
So, given this gap between all the hype and the tough reality, where is the real opportunity? What's the strategic path forward for building something valuable with AI right now?
The consensus from the experts is pretty clear. Don't try to build one AI to do everything. The real value is in focusing. Pick one of those painful last-mile problems and solve it exceptionally well. Use your company's unique data to give you an edge. And this one's key, build for collaboration with a human, not for total hands-off autonomy.
This is such a critical point from Harrison Chase, the creator of LangChain. He's saying the most practical, the most trustworthy systems, at least for the foreseeable future, are going to be partnerships. It's a human-AI team where the agent does the heavy lifting, but a human is still there to make the most important judgment calls. And this right here might be the ultimate strategic insight from Arvind Jain, CEO of Glean. He says, look, cutting costs is fine, but the biggest wins, the real game changers, will come from using AI to create entirely new products and services, things that were literally impossible before this technology came along. It's about growth and innovation, not just efficiency.
Which brings us to the big picture and what all of this really means for us.
Because make no mistake, as these systems get better and better, as they move from being simple co-pilots to more autonomous agents, they are going to fundamentally change our jobs, our industries, and the very nature of what work even is.
So the critical thought I want to leave you with is this question. If AI gets really, really good at handling all the tasks, the workflows, the doing, what skills become the most valuable for us humans? What does that free us up to do? What about things like creativity, strategic judgment, critical thinking, emotional intelligence? These are the things that suddenly become more important than ever. And it's something we're all going to need to be thinking about as this amazing technology continues to evolve.